Okay. Let's go, legends. Sorry about that. Had some connection issues. Let's go. I'm going to go quickly through the comment section and then continue with that explanation, guys, that I was creating here on the price of Bitcoin. Okay. Let's go. Yes. All right. Yes. We are live. Sorry about that, legends. I don't know what's going on today. Internet connection is not playing ball. Hopefully everything's good. Right now, as we speak, guys, make sure to smash up that like button for this stream. Anyway, about this movement down, very important, guys, to really understand. We were expecting a rollover here at some point. Unlikely that we were going to get a successful break above $118,000, right? You know, maybe you have been following some other guys that actually, it's not a difficult, it's not difficult to understand that it is hard to break out successfully from here after forming this price action. Multiple 1-2s was unlikely. Your second 1-2 was larger. You can count a WXYXZ, you can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Regardless of whatever you're forming here, you are looking for a reversal here. No matter how many times you tap above 118K, the reversal here was very, very likely. Okay, so anyway, let's go right away through this movement down, guys. This is the bomb diggity of understanding, okay, that there is high probability in claiming all-time highs at least one more time. It might fly, it might not fly, it might double top, but coming up to all-time high is highly likely. Even though we come down to $96,000, guys. Even though we have the potential to come as low as $96,000, we're still looking for a recovery to claim all-time high. We've been talking about this for weeks right now, guys. Okay, people were screaming very bullish. We understood the possibility here of this, or the possibility of this sideways momentum, then up, and even coming to much lower levels, just because the timing, guys, the timing for this to actually bounce and go to all-time high is unlikely. So the good news is that we do expect another new all-time high to happen at some point. And when we do take a look at this channel, okay, and this channel, for example, if we do connect it, a flat is not possible, okay, in a diagonal, guys, okay, super important. In old Elliott wave theory from 100 years ago, yes, but the new Elliott wave theory, flats inside of a diagonal is not possible. You don't take it into consideration. So if we are not taking this bounce to the upside into consideration as a flat, and it's only this movement up, which is very fast compared to the movement down, it doesn't make sense. What makes sense is a flat here, expanding flat. But just out of curiosity, if you wanted to fit this move as a straight move up, okay, in a correction, which doesn't make sense at all, but somebody was saying it's a clear diagonal here in a 5-wave move down. It's not a clear diagonal. This would be an expanding diagonal if we do consider this pivot low of the wick. Okay, it's expanding, and inside of an expanding diagonal, your wave 5 needs to be longer than your wave 3, which is not the case. There's no solid way of counting this as a 5-wave structure of an impulse, okay, or a diagonal or whatever. There's no solid way to count this as a 5-wave move to the downside. So it's a correction. It's some kind of 3-wave structure which you can fit an ABC. Of course, if you form a 3-wave ABC, it opens the door for a double zigzag. Eventually, you would be looking for another 3-wave structure down throughout the next coming weeks. It gives you the potential still being bullish. The moment we lose this 107K is where I'm looking for levels of support and exhaustion, and extremely interested in taking out all-time high later on. And this would be an epic swing trade, guys. Epic swing trade that I would be very interested in taking. Of course, you know, and nothing is, I don't know if we're going to come down that low. There's other trading opportunities, such as the bounce that we had early this morning at the point of control. You know, that's a good day trade setup. Point of control, SFP, or, you know, triple bottom if you wish, and look to sweep up the highs of the range of the range of the last few days. You know, it's just a nice day trade scenario. So we're just considering the possibility on the higher time frame here to actually come down to below 107K, right? It might be a double bottom. It might, you know, get supported from this point of control, from this range. Very possible. I mean, this has actually already got the bounce. My bad here. Value area low. You know, it might just get to 107, 103, 104K zone and get the bounce. If this bounce is impulsive, it's very strong, and it's actually getting a good bounce here. Bang, bang, bang. And your movement down is very choppy and corrective. This could very much signal that this is the low. But of course, you need that bounce here, right? Trying to snipe a long position beneath this low. Let me just double check here. We probably have a few daily levels. And, you know, yeah, there is a daily level down here. SFP. It's a nice SFP level with the daily. Could get a reaction. Could be a bit of a sniper trade right there. But I would rather wait for the first leg up, the first sign of strength, right? We need a lot of information here still, right? You want to get the movement up, maybe the movement down, very impulsive, and you want to see the bottom formation here, get a bit of that volatility in a range, and then speculate on the double, triple bottom, right? Which is also what we speculated on here throughout yesterday. You get the big move down. You get the big move down, and after a big move down, most commonly, you know, the biggest move is most commonly the third wave, right? 1, 2, 3, and then you get your 4 and your 5. You maybe form a flat. You maybe get 2, 4, and 5s. You know, after a big move, breaking down successfully here is low probability. It's low probability that you get a successful breakdown here. So this is why this information that we had in the last few days is crucial. Let the price stop, form a little bit of a range, understand the range just as we did yesterday, which was forming a 3-wave move down. That's alert, guys. The lows are likely going to be claimed again because of this 3-wave move to the downside, which it did. So that's information that you get to give you that edge, right, on taking the decision. So this is why when you get these channels coming up here with, you know, sniper trade at the daily level, right, which we have just here at this level, SFP. I mean, SFPs are always good, guys. SFPs from major lows or highs, they're always a good option. But preferably, you know, if you were to come down to this zone, you preferably get a reaction. You get a little bit of a consolidation, just like here, just like we had in the last few days. This gives you the option of double bottom catching, right? Double bottom catching. When you form a little range, it's just better, right? So, you know, just realizing that there is still the possibility, guys, that we do come down to below 107K and maybe lower, okay? Bullish case scenario that was discussed yesterday was there is a way of counting this as a 5-wave structure, okay? There is a way of counting this as a possible 5-wave impulse. Now, the problem that we have here, okay, is that we do have the first leg down that looks very impulsive. You might even create one more low here, okay? It looks pretty damn impulsive in a 5-wave structure. And of course, if you do have a impulsive move down after a significant leg up here that we had in September, and if possible 5-waver, if we're considering the bullish case scenario, you very likely need another leg down. Very, very likely. Okay. The overall question is, is this a wave 1? And this is going to be a wave 2. I mean, this would be the bullish case scenario. You form an ABC, some kind of a 3-wave structure. You find some support down here, which you do have. Let's take a look here. Might have a naked point of control down there. Haven't got much levels here. We haven't got much levels down here. We have a daily. Yeah, there's a daily level here at 110.1. Could be interesting. Could be interesting to get a reaction at that daily. That's where the 7/8 Fibonacci is. Maybe slightly below. Yeah, slightly below we have the 7/8 Fibonacci. Maximum 7/8 is where you want to get that bounce. But this would be the bullish case. So you would want to see some rally, some kind of a rally here that is corrective. Claiming the low again or not, doesn't matter. The claiming the low again gives you the possibility of a double bottom, because that means that the 5th wave hasn't developed yet. You're forming a larger kind of a corrective structure. You could move down here and create the 5th wave. Maybe this is still part of the 4th wave. You need to give that possibility. So that means that another double bottom here is very much acceptable for a long, okay? If we do not claim these highs. Once we claim these highs already, I would start considering that maybe the 5th wave is in. If we do get above the highs, pretty nicely, and we correct down, then I would say, okay, yeah, this was the low. But I do understand that, claiming the low again and then getting the bounce, maybe this is actually the 5th wave. Well, it does become interesting to these lows are good for a long. Just like yesterday's lows, they're good for a long, taking a bounce at the point of control, because when you do get a powerful move down, it is very rare for the price to continue down with an aggressive move down. Okay, this would be very rare right now, because all of the power has already happened in the middle, which is most commonly known for the 3rd wave. You realize that this 5th wave is going to get exhausted and will not successfully continue up in this case. So yeah, another double bottom. Maybe the 4th wave is going to be a complex choppy, there's a flat in the middle, WXY, very confusing. Nobody knows what the heck's going on. But it doesn't really matter, because you realize that after this leg down that has the most power, breaking down here, without getting a significant bounce, at least hitting the 382 most commonly, right? Yeah, we haven't hit the 382 yet. And it's like a minimum target. I think it's like 78% of the times, you do hit the 382 after an impulse. Okay, after a solid move up, you at least retrace to the 382 78% of the times. I mean, you can chat GPT it, guys. And as it is a probability game, right? And I understand that after a big movement down, the probabilities here of breaking down successfully are very low, which opens the door to double, triple bottoms. They are very interesting to long, to at least sweep up the lower highs of the range of the last few days. At least getting to the 382 Fibonacci from the highs to the low, as the 382 is hit, I don't know, is it 78%? We can chat GPT it right now, guys. How many times does the 382 is hit after an impulse? And it's something like 78%. I'm just randomly saying this, but I know it's more than 70% of the times. And as you realize this is a probability game, if 78% of the times after an impulse, you do hit the 382 Fibonacci, it's in your best interest to try and spot, where that 5th wave is going to finish. So we understand that this 5th wave, was this the one? Maybe. You need to take the chance here if you're getting at support. Could you create one more low? As I understand that breaking down successfully here without hitting the 382 at a bare minimum is rare. If this were to be the case, you would have to consider this being a 1-2, 1 and 2, and then break down here. But the main reason why a double 1-2 here has low probabilities is because the 3rd wave here, the second 1 and 2, if you wish, is much larger than the first 1-2, which is uncommon. And you most of the times you do get overlap in your 1-2s. So you do create this. You overlap your wave 2 from your previous wave 1. That's most common for a multiple 1-2 setup, then 3, and then your 4 and 5s. So low probability for a multiple 1-2 and get a successful breakdown. Because of this reason, you did not overlap from your wave 1s and 2s. And your wave second 1 and 2 is much larger than the first one. So yeah, breaking down here successfully is low probability. So it's in your best interest to try and spot the double, triple bottoms here, realizing that this is likely a 4th wave and your 5th wave, and your first target zone is most of the times you do get above the 4th wave, okay? But it would be the 382, which is, 382 Fibonacci, which is literally just above the highs here of the range of the last few days, right? So this is a long setup that you're targeting this rally, right? This is the rally that we spotted yesterday in the Legends Pro community, which is this post right over here, okay? This is what we're looking for, guys. Sweep up the lows, get a bounce back to the highs. And that's a high probability trade. Okay, so let's continue here through Staffer1. Much love to you, brother. Thanks for joining the stream and giving love and support, my man. Very active in the pro community. Absolute legend. Thank you very much, Staffer. Much love to you, brother. Divine Hood, NPOC, N78 around 109.5k. Thanks, Divine Hood, at least on Coinbase charts. Thank you very much for that, spotting that scenario. That level, 109. Yeah, I think we do have naked point of control here. Probably from this consolidation right over here. I mean, you can get, you have many different possibilities here of finding that point of control. So, let's talk about some scenarios, guys. Let's talk about some possible trading setups here. Even though the most obvious one was the local double bottom here. And, I am targeting plus 113.3, 113.5. Let's see if we can sweep the highs of the dead cat bounce. That's the target zone. And just waiting patiently to see if, we do manage to get that rally. What would be interesting here, if we do get that some kind of a corrective move, it is getting a little bit exhausted. I do get this, okay? It doesn't look too powerful. No major retracements. A bit of a 5-waver here. What could be interesting is that we do get a leg down. I think we do have the, I'm not sure if I do have it on the chart here, but overall, the previous day point of control. We can just get the fixed volume profile from this range. Possibly high volume node from here. This already opened today in this zone. Yeah, it's the high volume node of today, which could provide a little bit of support. But what will be interesting, okay, is if the price does, correct down, moves down here without sweeping up the highs, and it's like, we didn't take out the highs. It doesn't matter. If we do claim this low again, it will be the moment to be ready for these are the kind of, the bounces happen fast, guys. You need to be ready to execute that trade. At the naked point of control, stop beneath the low, or the SFP. It doesn't really matter. SFP here obviously was a little bit late. It was a big wick. But if you were to claim the low again, the same strategy, realizing that breaking down has a low probability, but the execution is simple. You cannot get burnt, and you cannot burn your account and get extremely liquidated on these kind of trades, because you literally need to have some levels as a barrier, right? And I do like to explain this a lot of the times. You either SFP or you bounce at a good level of support, right? Like point of control of this range. Point of control of this range. This is the level that needs to hold. If it is tapped, you do have the option to long, okay, if the price manages to get above it. There's no long trade to be taken beneath this level, okay? If you continue to the downside, there's no limit orders, there's no add to the position or any of that bollocks, okay? You need to see the reaction. You need to see the price getting back above, regardless if it's the 1 minute time frame or the 15-second, it doesn't really matter. You need a reaction above the level to execute that trade, to have your stop loss beneath the failed breakdown of the major level. Your longs are executed above the level always, so you can manage risk. If you are getting into limit longs here, yeah, you're going to get a great price entry, and today it would have worked out. But what happens if it does not work out? What happens if the price nukes from here and you are stuck underwater with your limit longs, and the price absolutely nuked here and it's just consolidating, correcting, and still continuing down? I mean, this would not be the most common price action, but this is something that I would not expect. But what if it does that, right? What if it does continue nuking beneath the level? You don't want to be trapped. You don't want to be underwater. You want to have your execution at the SFP of the naked point of control or the SFP, and you'll stop beneath the low. If you get stopped out, end of the game. Tomorrow's another day. Later on, there's maybe another setup. Don't, have, emotions on your trades. Plan the trades very, very well, guys. You need to long on the reaction here. This is why, if we claim the low again, I would be very interested. If we do this, get back above, I'm getting into another long. It doesn't matter. I realize that at some point you are going to get that bounce to sweep up the highs or get to the 382. It's the highest probability scenario here after this big move down yet from Monday. Getting continuation down here is low probability. You realize that after getting this consolidation after the big move down, that you are going to form a double, triple, quadruple bottom. It's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point. Now, this is when you come into action. You come into action here. You say, okay, I got the naked point of control. I got the possible double bottom. Andy said that, we don't want to trade. We don't want to long it if it loses the level. If we are trading beneath it, it's not in our interest. If you lose a solid level like this, you do not want to be in the long, right? But if you instantly react to the level, that's when you execute the sniper trade, stop loss at the low, guys. It has to be one of the best kind of entries that you can get, because it is true that sometimes people would say, well, let's wait for, a sign of strength, right? And you can go to the 1 minute, 5 minute, time frame, guys. It doesn't really matter. There's always different opportunities. I would have been a little bit skeptical about this long, if I'm honest, right over here. But yeah, he would have said, okay, I longed the breakout of this trend. Not my favorite trade that I would get into personally. But you can try and spot a bull flag corrective structure. If the third wave doesn't successfully move down here, then yes, you're getting overlap from this pivot. You could arguably discuss there was high probability in getting a bounce in this zone. Okay, actually taking out the highs at a bare minimum, and maybe you would have longed here. I'm looking for bigger swings. Okay, I'm looking for the bigger swings. So I'm not looking for these scalp movements and scalp entries, but it was an option in this case. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about larger swings with higher probability. So as mentioned here, wait for the level to be tapped, right? And your entry execution has to be taken in this range. In this range, you can either use the range point of control or the SFP low to execute that trade, and your stop loss automatically comes beneath this low. And your projection, at least my one, is coming to sweep up these lower highs. I'm giving you a nice, $2,500 to $3,000 move, right? Which is basically the trade. So let's talk about, okay, where's the next trade setup, right? How can we build the next trade setup here locally? Because that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested here eventually to give you good education, but also find a setup, right? Find a setup, find a possible projection here, which eventually is not going to be easy because we have a few options here. We definitely have a few options. I would speculate that the bounce here to the upside has a higher chance, in my opinion, to be a corrective move. But we just don't know. We just don't know, guys. Right? I cannot imagine which is the highest probability scenario here, if it is going to be an impulse or correction, because there is an option for an impulse to happen here and actually claim above $118,000. This is a very real move that could happen. So the next move up is going to be extremely important, guys, to understand. Why do we have the possibility of forming a three-wave move up here instead of a, first leg down, a corrective bounce, and claim the lows, right? This is where your knowledge really, overtakes the rest of the, random retail trader. I understand there's two scenarios here. There's either this one or this one. Okay? So it's like, damn, you have no fucking clue, excuse my language here, what is going to happen. Nope, I don't. But I don't need to yet. So if the price, it is going to be interesting to see how the move develops, because there are some trading setups lied in this zone. There is. And I will likely give that setup in the pro community, potentially between today and tomorrow, very likely tomorrow. How are we going to identify that setup, right? Because the setup of yesterday was executed this morning, which was this one right over here in the Legends Pro. I actually gave this setup also in the VIP community, okay, which was looking for that reaction bounce. If you are interested, guys, make sure to send me a DM. If you're interested in the pro community, where you have much more education, much more setups on altcoins and also Bitcoin mainly, okay, throughout myself and 𝗬𝗍𝘆𝗽, send me a DM. We can get you into the pro community, okay? It's not that much, about $100 a month, even slightly less than that. But the VIP you can access just by signing up throughout one of the links, guys, okay? That's where I share, any of my trades on Bitcoin. And to get into the VIP, you just need to sign up to Bluffin or Weeks and create a minimum deposit, guys. So if you're interested in that, super easy, okay? You do get great perks on Bluffin. Bluffin, Weeks has 20% deposit bonus. And, Bluffin also has 10% cash back, okay, on your deposit, different perks. Super great platforms. Been trading over a year on these exchanges. And you get access to the VIP, where we do provide the setups, okay? I provide the possible trades on Bitcoin mainly. On the pro community, you get lots more information and education eventually. So let's just give the idea here of what setup I would be looking for, guys, okay? Let's build up the setup, because it's all about building up the plan, executing the plan, because I'm interested here in making money, right? Not just randomly long this bull flag, or short this bull flag. It looks good, it looks bad. It is a probability game, and you need to understand the waves, Fibonacci, and how the probabilities increase in your favor. And that's when you execute the trade with good risk management, guys. Okay? It absolutely, my blood boils, guys, when I do see bad education out there. When I see bad education, you know, it missed information, right, to the people, and it really pisses me off, guys. It really does. So educate yourself from someone that actually gets into good trades and actually has a good track record that can, you know, prove to you, you know, there's no sugarcoating on my side. You know, I give the setups, you need to execute, I give the scenarios. But anyway, and obviously I like to prove after on video updates, right? Not suddenly forget something that we randomly talked about yesterday, right? So if we do get this this rally, okay, this could have been the end of an impulse. It could have been the end. I understand that we might form a complex sideways WXY. We claim the highs. Maybe we come back down. Very possible. I wouldn't be too interested right now in shorting the highs because I understand that this could be a finished 5-wave structure. And after a finished 5-wave structure, not only hitting the 382 is a minimum target, but you can actually get up to the 7/8 Fibonacci. You know, we could actually rally here, dump, and then rally back up. You know, I'm not interested anymore in this short here. I was interested yesterday in a possible short. Guys, if we sweep up the highs, game on. Game on to claim the lows, and then we look for a long. Short and long if we sweep up the highs here for that flat. It didn't happen. We form a bit of a running flat situation, claim the low. Doesn't matter. The long scenario was this one. So, as I'm not interested in that short, because I understand that this could be a 5-wave finished move, I want to see, you know, a little rally, maybe correct down. If we create some choppiness here on the movement down, right, we could arguably discuss that this could be a wave B, or it could be a wave 2, right? If it is corrective, if the movement down is very overlappy and very corrective, it forms a little bit of a wedgie structure, then I would say that this is a good, this could be a good bull flag. This could be a good bull flag. Not this one from yesterday. Not this one yesterday. This is not a bull flag. This is, you know, this is low probability in breaking up, guys. This scenario right over here to do this, yeah. Not this one. This one from here, yes. If we form this kind of choppiness, then I would speculate that we could get the leg out up, okay? And it all had to do with that 3-wave move down here. 3-wave move down to create a low. Any bounce is no bueno. It's not good. Not good for continuation. Aggressive continuation to the upside. So from this one right now, yes. Simple reason is, you know, you have the potential of a 5-wave move down. Finished. So if you do create the choppiness and the overlap, you could speculate on that breakup. And I was, you know, I was actually looking at this movement down yesterday, and I'm thinking, you know, with Jerome Powell coming out for the speech, I was looking at this structure, and you can see how from this pivot low you have 1, 2, 3, and from the movement down to claim the lows 1, 2, 3, and the next move, if you pay attention, you know, we were speculating on the pro community that you could, you know, this could be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it rolls down. Maybe it's a running flat and it's finishing here. The double triple tops are finishing here. But when you zoom out closely here, what you can see is that leg 1, wave 2, wave 3, then you get this price action, and then you claim the high again. So you do have a 5-wave move to the upside right over there. Right? Which that's what you need to end a flat, running flat or expanding flat. You need a 5-wave move up. And when we got this rejection, right, and somebody that doesn't have experience might think that this is a bull flag after this massive rally. It's okay, it's normal. And I was thinking, this could definitely be the high. This could definitely be the high, 5-wave move up. And what is happening here, you might think, oh, you got overlap, right? You're having overlap here. Oh, you know, this does look corrective. Well, you've literally formed a multiple 1-2 here. You're forming lower highs, 1-2, 1-2. You get the big move down and a few 4-5s. This is a, you know, this is a movement down here. that is, you know, relatively strong. So yeah, I mean, I was just to explain that, you know, this was not a sign of a bull flag and overlap, okay? Because you need to take into consideration this structure here. How did we come down and claim the low in a 3-wave move down? So it's not good. It's not good. It is not good. Longing anywhere here is just not a high probability bull flag, right? Based on what I explained, you need to consider what's happened, right, in the last 2 days, right? What's happened in this range. You know, can I see this really as an overlappy corrective structure? You really need to consider, right, what's happened. How did we come down? How did we bounce up? Okay, boom, boom, boom. We've probably got a flat here. High probability in claiming the low because of this 3-wave structure. Not interested in this bull flag. Now that we've moved down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This movement down, I am a little bit skeptical on this movement down, I have to say. I am skeptical. I am aware of the price potentially coming down here. I mean, this is not a great move down. It's not a great move down to consider as an impulse. It does look a bit 3-wavy, if I'm honest with you. Right, there might be just about. Yeah, I mean, you just barely getting that overlap here from that movement down. It does look a little bit 3-wavy, which eventually opens the door for a more complex corrective structure in a WXY. So I'm going to say that there is a, you know, I think there's still a high chance. You know, my target zone is to sweep up the highs and get to the 382. It doesn't really matter if we roll down from here. I would still re-enter stop loss at break even. I'm still interested in the double bottom. There's still high probability that we do get above this range, because at a bare minimum we need to hit the 382, guys. You know, it's the most common thing after an impulse. 78% of the times, give or take, right? I'm throwing this out. I know it's more than 70%. I think it's about 75, 78% of the times you do hit the 382 after an impulse. So you know, as I understand, yeah, this one right here, you probably can fit a 5-wave move to the downside. Can it be a complex WXY and then we create the low? And this was your 4th wave, or your 4th wave finishes here. You know, you get a flat zigzag down and then, you know, and another zigzag up. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. I know that breaking down here without hitting the 382 successfully is unlikely. So, you know, I'm interested in that move, regardless if it's from here or here. Sometimes you don't need to be too fussy on Elliott wave theory here. You just understand the projections and, you know, what's highly likely. You know, you either bounce from here or you come down and then you bounce from here. So I'm interested in the SFP from the lows. Let's talk about where the different scenarios here. Staffer1, much love to you, brother. Thanks for joining the stream. We got some more people here. You have Patron. Sorry, guys. I'm really focused here on a few scenarios. I want to explain before I end the stream what I am looking for and how the price needs to develop in the next couple of days. In a nutshell, if we roll down from here without hitting the 382, I'm interested in another double bottom. That's one take. If we get above the 382, then I'm not that interested, okay, in the double bottom. I think we could possibly form a larger range here, get to slightly higher levels eventually in the next 1 to 2 days. And I want to explain how the price can move, just so we're ready on what we're looking for here to take that trading decision with high probability, right? Guys, no more all-time high, says Baby Superman. Yeah, it's the same story. I mean, yeah, people were really not happy with what I was talking about on the correction from here, guys, the last week. When the price is moving up, it's bull, 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 bull. When the price is moving down, it's bear, 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 right? And it's always the same story. I do see the potential of the price breaking down below 107k legends, okay? But what is more interesting is the bounce, okay? How the bounce is going to be developed, guys, is going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial if you want to speculate on the best level. Well, look no further. It's the 115.8k. It's the naked. There's a naked point of control there. It's basically the point of control of the range, right? In a nutshell, it's the biggest level. That is sitting also with golden pocket is beneath that level. 7-8 golden pocket point of control. I mean, this is going to be a tough nut to crack. This zone between 115.2 and 116.3, which is between golden pocket and 7-8 and that high volume node. Will we get up there? I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe not. How do we get up there is most important. Okay, because if we do continue up here, right, we hit 114.2, right, which is the previous 114.3 actually is the previous week low. So previous week low might get a reaction. Maybe a first level of a reaction with the 50% Fibonacci from the highs to the lows. Previous week lows, this one right over here, which is sitting at 114.4k. Maybe that one is the first reaction after this wave. Maybe. But if you really want to speculate on a short, some people are saying, I'm waiting for a short. I don't want a long, I want a short. We're downtrending. This breakdown looks aggressive. The price action needs to form this kind of movement. You need to see some kind of a three-wave move up there. Some kind. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to move, but you want to see this kind of three-wavy move. Okay? I wouldn't be interested in shorting the first pump, because what is likely is that you are going to correct down. It's going to roll over, but there's a higher chance in forming a higher low and then whoop, move one more leg up. And it might look very bullish, guys. You know, it might hit 115, it might hit 116. And you're like, whoa, you know, I entered a short here. What's going on? I thought this was bearish. Well, you need to wait. You know, the market moves in either 5 waves or 3 waves. And if you form a 5-wave down, you're likely going to form some kind of a 3-wave up. At a bare minimum, pay attention here, because there is the possibility of forming a 5-wave up here. And the main reason why is because you can fit in this price action a 3-wave structure to the upside and a possible flat ride over here. Yes, this is impulsive, but because of this price action, you can fit an expanding flat. And if you have an expanding flat after a 3-wave structure to the upside, you can have a WXY, zigzag up, flat in your X, and maybe a Y that gets above $118,000. Now that would be a surprise, wouldn't it? For all of the bears. Bears would be like, yo, what the heck? You know, I thought that we were actually going to form a lower high somewhere here. And you will very likely form a lower high first without taking out this high at 118k. But if you move up here, boop, 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 bang, do, 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 boop, boop, bang, right? And you form a bit of a pretty intensive, impulsive move, then, you know, you could arguably discuss getting the bars pattern here from this movement down and just reverse it, right? Just reverse that price action and put it right there, right? If you do, you know, get up like this, I don't know, man. Maybe this is not actually going to be a lower high. It's going to form a lower high. It probably is the best level to speculate on that lower high here. Is 115.8 because it is the point of control of this range, guys. But if you move quite impulsively here, be aware, guys, because this could be the scenario where you're rolling down. People are like, this is it, guys. Lower high. We're breaking down to the lows. And this is very classic price action. Very classic to get people bearish, to get the rollover. And then this does whoop. And everybody's like, hey, hang on a minute. What happened? What's going on here? Well, you literally need to identify this movement up as, does it look strong? Is there a lot of volume in the middle of the impulse, right? Yeah, and you start chopping down here. The moment the third wave fails and overlaps, I want to go long here, guys. I want to go extremely long to take out 118K. I will know that this movement will have high probability once we get this price action, because the chart is a battle, guys. The chart is a battle. And there's, I am passionate about reading the charts, right? Sometimes I don't use any moving averages, RSIs. I know with the price action, sometimes I don't even pull out Fibonacci, guys, because I really know, where you can see it, right? When you've done this for so many years, you realize who's winning the battle, right? And where the big probabilities lie. So, yeah, I mean, literally, I will understand that the bears here to roll over, the bulls had a good push up here. If they do have high volume, this movement down had high volume in the middle. That's what you want to see. Big volume in the middle. If this move in the middle has big volume, and then you chop here in a bit of a range for a fourth wave, and then you wick above the high, and then the rollover fails on the third wave attempt. This is the attempt for the bears to win the battle on the third wave. If the third wave fails and it gets an epic bounce overlapping the low and the lower high after this leg up that looks pretty damn strong, you're going to form a zigzag up. You're going to form a third wave with high probability and take out 118K. So, I mean, this is how, this is the local bullish case scenario to take out 118K, guys. We will know with the information that is given on the price action.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah, just touched the mic there and it probably disconnected. We will know who's going to win, who has higher probability in winning the battle. Okay, the chart tells you the story of the battle, and that's what we need to see to understand. You get a three wave down here, very corrective, overlappy. Third wave failed. Boop, boop, boop. Bulls are winning the battle. Likely going to take out this high. Interesting to look for longs. Stop loss. Looking for the highs to be taken. Right. Take profits. What's the bearish story? Well, the bearish story eventually, I would expect this rally to, either SFP from the highs of the last 2 days, get above 113.5, maybe fail then, or maybe fail from this pivot low, just a support resistance flip. I'm not interested in participating here in anything. Not today. Yesterday I was, but not today, because, this could be the finish of an impulse. This rally could really, surprise us a little bit. So I'm not interested. I understand. Yeah, we could SFP. We could go higher. No, I'm not interested in participating in this battle, because I realize, it might just do this and this. I realize it would do this and this. I know there's a few scenarios here that I understand that could happen. So what I'm interested in is rally, chop, get one more leg to the upside. And if this leg, this would be a bit of an aggressive short, but because we have that 115.8K, which is the most important level, I would say yes, we we can speculate just like this one, right? Just like this movement down. If we move up, get a consolidation and the next leg up, we can speculate for a C wave, right? We could say, 1, 2, 3, 6 extension from the low to the high to the higher low, 1 to 1. If it's in confluence with the point of control, we can SFP it. We can treat it as an SFP. Just like this point of control right over here, right? We did wick this morning. Come on, we can treat it as an SFP. Why not? Why not? So if we do get that move up, we consolidate, and then a 3-wave up. Be careful. Be careful. Realize that you could, what could happen here as you do come up here to the point of control. There's two options. You wouldn't get too hurt. I think it's an acceptable short position, because if you move up from here, you consolidate, and then you get another leg up. There's two options here. This is the top of the C wave. You sniper trade SFP of these lower highs, the point of control, 1.1 to 1 extension, 1, 2, 3, 6 extension from this first leg up. There's either two options here. This is your wave C, and you start rejecting very aggressively, right? And you actually start rolling over. Congratulations, you catched the high at the golden pocket 7-8 zone. There is a chance here because we moved down impulsively. Okay. Worst case scenario is that the movement to the upside ends up being an impulse, which, if you were to manage to hit 115.8K, in the next 1 to 2 days, you form a fourth wave and you claim the highs again. It's okay. You get stopped out. You can speculate on a local double top here. But, eventually, at the end of the day, what you're looking for here is the movement down. If you form that 5-wave move up, forget about the C wave here, guys. We formed a 5-wave impulse. Forget about this. If you chop around here on the rejection and you get lots of overlap, the third wave fails. Holy smokes, guys. We're going to take out the high. High's going to be taken. High's going to be taken. If you create this kind of price action here. 5-wave move, overlappy structure on the movement down. We'll be very interested in long in here to take out 118K. So yeah, we'll get that story in the next couple of days, guys. Story will be given, and we'll know exactly what is the highest probability movement. So the story of the last couple of days is, we were looking for a flat here and take out the lows. The story of today was to get that bounce and look to get to the golden pocket. There's really no business to be taken here unless you're getting into small little bull flags, right? On the 1-5 minute time frame on the movement up. I had no business here, no trades here for me. The trade that I'm going to be looking for, maybe if we do get this choppiness, it's not worth it, because you still could claim the low, still could get a surprise, and this is a longer correction. But if it's too complicated, forget about the trade. There's other ways on how the price can move in the next coming days. You don't need to trade every single trade. If I have doubts on a trade, I'm just not going to trade it. Yesterday we were talking about, it could be in the pro community, by the way. We were talking about, it could be a running flat. It could be a flat. It could take the highs. It could not take the highs. If you want a short, get into a small short. There's high probability in taking out the lows. If we do SFP from the highs, maybe add to the short. The clearest trade was SFP from the low, right? Doesn't matter if you form a flat, running flat, don't take out the highs or not. We're looking for one more low, and we're looking for this bounce. And that what is clear. That's the only setup that I provided yesterday. We're talking about, I did talk about a setup of claiming the highs and SFPing from the highs, but understanding that a running flat is possible. We might just drop from here. I don't know. There's a few scenarios. I'm not interested in that one. I'm interested in this one. this one's highly likely to happen, which is the one that's happening now, right? So yeah, like I mentioned, I understand that there's no short here for me. I want to see a rally, I want to see a correction, and I want to see another rally. I want to see a three-wave move to the upside, and I want to see the price hitting crucial levels of resistance. And as I know that with this could be a five-wave move down, and we have a three-wave move up, if this has to be a bearish case scenario, the price should not successfully break above the golden pocket to the 7-8. And, that's where we do have the point of control of this range, naked point of control if you wish, at 115.8k zone. That might be the zone of interest to say, okay, maybe the price is actually going to reject from here. So that's where I am interested in looking for double tops, exhaustion, right? I'll be analyzing this wave very carefully. You get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, inside of that C wave, try and get that fifth wave tapping the zone. That could be an interesting short. So that's what I'm waiting for, guys. You do not build a track record and you do not make money on trading, just randomly getting into long shorts here, there. It's a calculated, predictable market, and you need to wait patiently for the best trades. So yeah, that's what I'm waiting for here, literally, guys. And what else can we talk about? In a nutshell, you form a three-waver. There is a chance of the price rolling over. Okay, because this can be counted as an impulse. This can be counted as an WXYXZ. It can be counted as a five-waver. This can be counted as an A, a B, and a C. This could be counted as a 1. This is a 2. I want to see a three-waver here at a bare minimum. At a bare minimum, I want to see some kind of a three-wavy structure. First leg up, I'm not interested. I do not know where this pump is going to finish, guys. Literally. This could do this. And then it does this, and then it does this. And then it maybe, that's a three-waver. I do not know if it's going to SFP of the highs. It's not the greatest SFP of the highs right now, understanding that this could be a five-wave down finished, and the first leg up can be pretty nasty. So, it's just not, I don't want to have any business here of shorting the move up. I want a three-wave move. I want this. I want this. Whatever. I don't care where it happens. I want to see that three-wave move of some kind. No matter how strong this level is, no matter how good the previous week low is, yeah, we can tap it and roll over. It's just not a trade for me. It's just not a trade for me. Because I understand that this could be the low, and it could do this, this, and this. It could even do this, this, and this, boom, boom, and then correction, and then move up here. And, what we are forming here is a much larger WXY. This might sound like Chinese, guys, but overall, it's how the price could develop. I understand where the highest probability trades lie, guys, and it's definitely not here for me anyway. So several ways on how the price can move. This could be a zigzag up, flat, and another zigzag up, guys. Claim 118k. Everybody would be surprised. I would be interested in possibly shorting here. This could be a pretty nice SFP zone. It will be interesting. I'm not sure if we have major levels above that zone. We did have some naked point of controls that was hit. Range point of control. There's a weekly naked point of control at 118.9k, which can be interesting for this scenario. But this is possible that the price could move up here. I do not see the price rallying successfully if we move up from here, guys, like this, as explained. If we do form this is a great zone to look for shorts. I'll explain why. If you are considering that this is a impulsive move to the upside in a 5-waver, and this is going to get a lot of people trapped, guys, I'm telling you. And you see this as this is no kind of correction, guys. This does look pretty impulsive. If you move up from here in a 3-wave structure in the next coming days, this is going to be an epic zone to look for a short. Not a big one to come down low, because if you do get above the golden pocket, the probabilities decrease that we are going to get down here, guys. Maybe 107k. That's it, guys. Low is in, possibly. And what you're forming here is a WXY. You're just finishing your X wave still here. So you could form a flat. You could form a triangle. Doesn't really matter. We'll get to that business once we get the information. But this would be a good, interesting area to look for a pullback. There'll be a high probability pullback to be created here, just because if we are considering this as a 5-wave move to the upside, and this, no way that this is the wave 2. No way. It could. It does look impulsive, but it's time, guys. Time is important. Time is important. And for this to finish down here with a pretty nasty impulsive move down, people are going to be exploding of bullishness if we get above 118k in the next few days, guys. They'll be like, oh, bad trap, guys. We're going to all-time high. And then this is the rejection point, right? Then I would say, yeah, consolidation, triangle, whatever, flat, then all-time high later on into October. But overall, it's not going to shoot up breaking to this high, because if we consider this a 5-wave move up, you got a pretty nasty 5-wave down here in the last few days, guys. We cannot deny that. This does not look corrective. If you move up here in a zigzag, you're just extending the WXY. You're just extending your X wave. Okay? And if we consider this as a 5-wave impulse, this looks impulsive. When we do take a look at timing, this movement down finished well before the 382 Fibonacci time. It's too shallow in time for this to be the low and absolutely rocket here in the next coming days. This is why if we do come up from here to claim the highs, what is the higher probability is that you formed a zigzag up in W, a flat in wave X, and you're looking for your Y right over here in a zigzag to get above the highs and fail and reject at some point eventually. Weekly naked point of control. I don't know. We'll check that later on. Okay. So this is good. This zone becomes very interesting for shorts. It will be very interesting. If we move up like this, people are going to be jerking off here, talking about all-time high. It's unlikely to happen, guys. This is a rejection point if we move up like this. It's likely going to reject. Woo, what a pump, guys. What's going on? It's pumping. It's popping off here. I need to let the community know. They need to take some profits from that long. So let the people know in the community that they need to start taking some profits right away, get legends. Because I need to give that information to the community, even though they do know. I did let them know once we get above 113.5, 114k, they should be taking profit. But A community needs to be updated. And I need to let them know, guys. If you longed, it is time to take some profits. Staffer one is in there. He'll know. Anyway, let's talk about some other scenarios. Nice, interesting pump. So, somebody in the comment section was saying, I did not long. I'm looking for longs. I'm looking for shorts. My question is, where are you looking for the shorts? How are you looking for the shorts? I've explained what I'm looking for. Maybe it makes sense on your analysis. I'm only here to help, guys. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, let's go right away through the comment section. I've explained a little bit what I need to see on the price action. Okay. We can talk about some altcoins, how altcoins doing. Aster is absolutely, taking the game, is rolling the game. Guys, I'm just updating. Sorry about that. I'm just updating here the community and the VIP because this was a setup that was mentioned yesterday. And eventually I'm just letting the people know that, it's time to take some profits, even though it was already clear on the text that, we're looking to sweep up the highs above 113.5 for the take profit on that long setup, guys, that was given here yesterday, which was this one right over here. Okay. Very nice indeed. We swept the lows, bouncing back up. Very good entry. Very good. Nice indeed. If you are interested in the VIP or the pro community, for the VIP, it's simple. Sign up to one of the links, guys, down below. Weeks or bluffing. You get incredible perks. 10% cash back on bluffing, guys. VIP 1 or 2, depending on what you deposit. And if you do create a minimum deposit, you do get access to the VIP, where I provided this epic long setup, guys. Hopefully, a lot of people did take the trade. I can't trade with you for you. I can give you the possible scenario, and then you need to take action. VIP, guys, send me a DM. Sign up throughout one of the links and do a minimum deposit. We can get some access to you guys. And I'm just sharing where I'm looking for some trading setups, guys. Okay, nothing else. Just sharing my journey. If my journey is successful, why not share it with the rest of the people, right? So let's go through the comment section. Your short was 122k. I'm not sure what people having a discussion. I think good to short at to 98k. I think good to short at 98k. I think to short, we cannot do that. We cannot think. We need to be very technical here. We need to be technical, right? If you shorted here last week, I didn't get into a very successful short entry. I had to take profit. My short was crap. I didn't add to the position. I needed to take profit on the movement down. It was a bad entry. So I'm out of the shorts here. Just because the entry was bad. Profits are profits. We need to take profit, guys. Long so far so good. It is bouncing over $3,000, almost $4,000 right now, which is a good, nice. It's a good movement to make some good profits, right, on Bitcoin. So somebody's saying, I think it's a good short to 98k. Wow, you like, there's so many different things that could happen still here. Holy moly, man. Some guys are hilarious, I have to say. Not that I'm saying that specifically you are hilarious, but without a doubt, 98k is on the table. Okay, it's a possibility. If this ends up being a double zigzag, we've been talking about this for weeks now. But calm down. Price moves in waves, and I've explained how we can detect the possibility. Right, it ain't going to go down in a straight line. I've explained how the price needs to move here, and we need to see some kind of a three-wave move. Preferably we hit some good levels of resistance. I need that three-waver first. This could be a good short. choppiness at the resistance. This might be the top. This might be the second wave. And this the third wave. Or this the B wave and this the C wave down. It actually nukes down to, 105 or less. But as explained before, guys, I am not interested at all in participating in any movement in this area. At all, guys. I need this. I need this. I don't know. I need some kind of a 3-wave move up to resistance. And then we can talk about it. Or if I miss the high, if we move up like this, and then we do this, I'll probably short the bounce here if this is an aggressive move down. If we get a choppy bounce, I might short here. I don't know. We need some more information. The long was taken from early this morning. Nice move of almost $4,000. That was the trade. Now we need to wait patiently for more information for a better trade, right? Let's go through the comment section. Say hello to the absolute legends. Bro skips math. Ethereum, please. Good morning, Andy. First time here. Much love to you, brother. What's your opinion on a bounce at the moment? Yeah, it's good. I mean, the bounce is good. This is the bounce that we were looking for, right? This was the bounce. The bounce was take the low at 111K and get the bounce. This was the move down, get the bounce. How high can this bounce go? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't know and I don't care, guys. That's probably the best answer that I can give you right now. I know where we have resistance. I know how we need to get to that resistance. And I will only be interested in speculating on the resistance for a short after a 3-wave move, guys. This pump could go to 116. It could stop at 115. I don't know. I don't need to know. What I need is a 3-wave move up. I need some kind of a 3-waver here. And then we can maybe speculate on a short. If we consolidate and claim the high again, then I would be interested in a long position in this zone to take out 118K. So, not interested, guys. This is not a game for me at the moment. For the moment, the bulls are showing some signs of strength, and we could go to 114, we could go to 115, we could go to 116. It's the first push up. So, yeah, we just need to wait for a bit of information. So, yeah. Not much more that I can provide here, guys. Where is BTC headed? Back to 118K or stop out at 114.2-ish, then down? Yeah, this is... I don't think that this leg to the upside is going to shoot up. This is an unlikely scenario, okay? We don't move in a straight line. We move up, we correct, and then we have our next leg up, okay? For this to successfully get to the highs here, low probability. You are going to stop at some point. I do not know where, though. I don't need to know where. It can stop at a, maybe the previous week low at 114.3. Maybe it stops here. Maybe it stops slightly higher. I need the choppiness. I need the 3-wave move, guys. It's just, I cannot be more clear than that. So, anchored VWAP from the highs here. That's interesting. Anchored VWAP from the range high, right, of last week. That's interesting. I might get a little reaction here, but it's just not a level to short for me personally anyway. You might reject from there. Not interested, guys, in anything here at the moment. Much love to everybody. Thank you very much. Big up, Auntie Leo. Love signs. Much love to you, brother. Andy, the fifth wave is too short. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is. This fifth wave is too short in time or in length. Maybe this is still a WXY, guys. Maybe you do have a flat zigzag. Maybe, guys. Maybe it does create one more low. It is. Yeah, I can agree with you there. I can definitely agree with you there. Let's just double check here, Fibonacci. From this pivot high to this pivot low. Maybe, guys. Maybe. The moment you get above the golden pocket, from this pivot high to this pivot low, then I would have to say that this fifth wave has finished, because a fourth wave is invalidated at the golden pocket from your wave 2 to your wave 3. We're just a few $100 away from it, so maybe anybody that wants to speculate that the fifth wave is not in, your invalidation is the golden pocket. So if you want to put a stop loss there, it's your invalidation. If you hit 114.2k, your fifth wave is in. That's it, guys. You know, it's all math. It's all probabilities. It's all Fibonacci. It's all, you know, if you hit fourth wave, your fifth wave is in here. If you hit the golden pocket, your fifth wave is in. Yeah, you could speculate on a expanding diagonal. You know, well, but expanding diagonals are very, very rare. As long as you're below the golden pocket, maybe this is a complex WXY, and you do create one more low throughout later on, guys. Anybody that is very bearish, and you say that with wave 5 is not in because it's very short, I have to say it's not the best 5-wave mover down. It's not the best movement down here. So maybe it's a complex WXY where you have a flat zigzag down, zigzag up. Maybe, as long as you get below the golden pocket, it can still be the fourth wave. You sweep up the low and then you get the rally. But yeah, it's not my game here. I would definitely give the option for the fifth wave to be in. Not the game that I want to, you know, participate on the battle. Got my mother here giving love and power. Much love to you, mother, watching the stream. Take a look at ICP. Yeah, ICP. ICP looks very interesting. Muy interesante. Muy interesante, ICP. On some exchanges, mainly the future exchanges, we have claimed that low. The fact that we haven't claimed this low here from April, on the spot exchanges such as Coinbase, I bought some more ICP, guys. I'm long on ICP. I like ICP. It would have been nice for this to actually sweep up the low a little bit longer, a little bit more, you know, hit that level. I think it can still, as Bitcoin can be still bearish. I think ICP is going to actually drop below 420. Okay, I think it probably is. But I mean, it all depends on your strategy. I'm happy to buy down here. I'm happy to long here. I know what I'm looking for. I know how to manage my trades. So, and you know, why would you long? Why would you buy if you think that the low is going to be claimed? Well, that's just me. I just know how to handle this scenario. So it would be nice on spot exchanges. We did not sweep up the low. It would be rare to actually get a successful recovery from here. I do think that the price is very likely going to dip down below 420 and, you know, even hit $4 and even $3.80. I do, but I really strongly believe so, that this is likely going to happen on ICP. So, and then ultimately look for the spring point, right? That's the hopium that we have. The technicals do give me the reason. You know, I'm not betting the farm here, guys. I'm not betting the farm. If ICP goes to 0, yeah, I will take a loss, but it will not ruin me. Okay, so just like Umbrella, you know, Umbrella is less than 1% loss from my crypto portfolio. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. I made more trading in the last month than what I lost in Umbrella, right? So Every story is different for everybody, guys. Manage risk. Be careful. Aster, you know, these DEXs are looking pretty hot. But Aster did about 3-4x in the last week or so. Epic rally on Aster. About a 3-4x depending on where you bought in the last 1 to 2 weeks. These are hot. I wouldn't buy up here, me personally anyway. It could rally to $4, $5, $6. Anyway, legends, much love to everybody. 𝗖 on the weekly looks interesting as well. 𝗖 is, I do have some 𝗖 in my portfolio. It is literally almost at break even. I did buy 𝗖 just over here, guys. I'm literally at break even on 𝗖. I didn't buy any more here. Literally bought in this zone, you know, around about the 30 cents. I'm just about break even on 𝗖. But it does look pretty good. Looks like it wants to break that trend line, right? Some bullish momentum. We're going to give the multiple 1-2 here a possibility. This movement down does look corrective, so it is looking good. This choppiness looks corrective. It is looking good for 𝗖 to recover here in the next coming weeks, I have to say. 𝗖 looks good. I made 500% on Aster. Shout out to you, brother, 777. Absolute legend. Ethereum, please. Ethereum's at a pretty interesting spot here because we did sweep up the lows and we can already label this as a 3-wave structure. I would be cautious. Ethereum, high probability that we do take out all-time high in the near future. We've already swept the lows here with a dump of Monday. So we can consider that this is a end of a 3-wave structure. It might be just the first leg down and you form a larger, you know, 5-wave to the downside throughout the next coming days. And it's a larger ABC, but it's in your best interest to still be bullish. And, you know, this is without a doubt the zones. You know what would be bullish for Ethereum is getting a strong impulsive move here, claim the lower highs, and form a choppy corrective structure here. That would confirm that this is a end of a 3-wave move down, and it's in your interest to look for longs on the first sign of strength. You know, I cannot give more information on this, but this is still downtrending. It could still be, you know, still form 4 and 5 here. You got 1, 2, 1, 2. It could still form a 4 and 5. It's, you know, a few 4 aggressive, a few 4 and 5 aggressive moves down. Okay, still possible here, as you do have 1, 2, 1, 2, big wave down. 4 and 5, 4 and 5 still could happen here throughout the next few days. What would, the best thing is sweep up this lower high in a impulsive move, get a strong rally here, and then the correction, if it is choppy, we could really look for the back test of the point of control and the value area low of this trading zone and really speculate. Reclaiming value area low and point of control here is going to be your sign that it's game on. You know, it's game on. We're looking for Ethereum to break all-time high. We need this. Okay, so yeah, just giving you a heads up on that. I'm short on Ethereum still. I've taken most of the profits. Okay, most of the profits have been taken on Ethereum. Most of the profits have been taken on this Bitcoin trade. Yeah, Ethereum was one of my best trades in the last few weeks, short from all-time high. Anyway, legends, thank you very much for joining today's stream. I will be getting some setups ready for the, you know, pro community VIP. It's going to be interesting. We got some, you know, now it's clear. It's clear on Bitcoin what we're looking for. Need a bit of more information. Long trade was epic. Very nice long trade provided yesterday, developed today. And yeah, we've got some few scenarios that we'll be getting ready in the pro community, and I'll be giving, you know, the possible signal in the VIP, guys. If you're interested in joining, send me a DM, sign up to one of the links down below in the description. Bluffing weeks, you've got incredible perks. You do get access with a minimum deposit to the VIP. Make sure to send me a DM. Thank you very much to everybody joining today's live stream. Much love. 𝗬𝗍, please. We ain't taking a look at 𝗬𝗍 at the moment. Maybe tomorrow. Much love to everybody. Thanks for the super chats. Trade safe, stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.